Right. If you're a metal guitarist, you'll know this pain. You're playing Lamb of God in drop D, but then you want to play Slipknot in drop B. Then Pantera comes along in those weird in-between tunings, and suddenly you're restringing, re-intonating, and basically wishing you had 5 guitars ready to go. This is where drop tune pedals become essential, because if instead of fighting with setups and multiple tunings, one stomp takes you into the tuning you need. Now, Boss have stomped in with their new XS Poly Shifter series, and in this video I'm going to show you how these pedals tackle the 4 biggest tuning problems that drive metal guitarists insane, and actually fix them. Thanks again, Boss, for supporting the community, sending these pedals over, and sponsoring today's video. So here's the first problem every metal guitarist runs into. My guitar is currently set up in drop D, perfect for Lamb of God riffs. But then I want to play Killswitch Engage, which is in drop C. That's a whole step lower than drop D. I'd have to get different gauge strings, do a whole setup of this guitar just to play in another tuning. Or I can use this pedal here. Make sure it's set to detune 2 semitones, which is a whole step. Turn it on. And now we're in drop C. But then I want to go back to playing some drop D again. Press the pedal and we're back. I mean, that was pretty straightforward. Just press the pedal and I'm playing in drop C. Usually I'd have to grab another guitar, restring it, and that's really irritating. But now I want to play in Slipknot. That's drop B, at least. Again, thicker strings, resetting up my guitar, nightmare. Or switch this pedal again, down to -3, just one little notch, boop. Now we're in drop B. So the great thing with this pedal, I don't need 3 different guitars if I want to change my tuning to Killswitch Engage or Slipknot. I take my main guitar, stomp on that pedal, and I can go from drop D to drop C to drop B even, just by changing this little dial here. All with the same strings, same setup, exactly the same guitar. The next problem, string gauges. Let's say I want to tune this guitar all the way down to B standard and play some carcass riffs. If I just take this normal set of 9s or 10s and tune it down that far, this happens. It's basically unplayable. Floppy strings, no control, and you basically lose all the punch. Now sure, I could put a heavier gauge on, maybe 12s or 13s, but then if I'm going back up to drop D or E standard, it feels like I'm bending barbed wire. You can never win. And then that's the magic of the Boss Poly Shifter. I can go all the way down to B, but with the feel of the string gauge I actually like. Alright, now we're going to talk about floating trem guitars, because this is where things usually get ugly. Apparently, when you set up a Floyd Rose, or any other floating trem, you're supposed to pick a tune-in and a string gauge and just kind of stick with it forever. Because otherwise, every time you do that, you have to tweak the intonation, the truss rod, the action, balancing the springs and everything. It's an absolute total nightmare. And if you're into Pantera, forget it. Dimebag was notorious for using those weird in-between quarter step tunings. He would use something like E flat plus 40 cents on a little chord tuning. Normally, that would mean owning like 3 or 4 separate guitars all set up in that weird tuning, which can get insanely expensive. Here's the thing, you don't need 5 guitars. You just need this. A unique feature about the Boss XS100 Poly Shifter is that, as well as dropping down whole steps and having an expression pedal, it can also fine-tune the pitch as well. So I can then easily nail those quarter step Pantera tunings that would pretty much otherwise be impossible without a dedicated guitar. So I've currently got it set up so that when the expression pedal is on, I'm going to be tuning up by 50, and then I'm going to tune down half a step, so I'm then in E flat, but up by 50 steps as well, like so. Now, if I want to go down and I want to play something like Walk, all I have to do is change this number to 2, and I'm now in D standard. Press this button again, I'm back in E normally, but with the 50 points upwards still. And then press it again, go down to 3, and then I can play in even lower tunings. Like so, it's that easy. I don't have to change guitars, I don't have to restring them, I don't have to do intonation, setups, spring adjustments, all that kind of jazz, or have 5 dedicated guitars for each different Pantera tuning. I just use this one pedal and I can fine tune it, and it's easy to play along with the songs. That makes life so much easier. But here's where it gets even crazier. Even in these lower tunings, I can still use that expression pedal as well. So check this out. I've got the pedal set to tune down 2 steps, which is in D standard because this is in E. And I've got the expression pedal set to go up 2 whole octaves. Like I said, I can play that riff and becoming, the octave chords, the whammy, and all that while my guitar is in E in the tuning and string gauge that I love. So this one pedal isn't just doing that tuning trick, it's also handling the whammy stuff at the same time. Alright, now for problem number 4, extended range guitars. A lot of guitarists love 7 and 8 string guitars, but let's be honest, they're not for everyone. The first thing people say is that the fretboards feel huge compared to a 6 string, and then when you add in multi-scale necks, different pickups, suddenly the riffs you've been playing for years will feel totally different in your hands. Then there's the cost. A good 7 or 8 string aren't cheap. You're looking at dropping some serious money just to play a few extra songs in lower tunings. So here's the smarter way. Use either of the new poly shifter pedals, and you can tune this 6 string guitar in drop D all the way down to drop A to play some Suicide Silence riffs. I'm going to use the XS100 poly shifter. So for this I'm only using the tune down feature, and I'm going to set the dial all the way down to -5 or -6 depending on what tuning I want to play in. I'm pretty sure that's going to be in the drop A tuning. And there we go. It was tight, it was aggressive, and I got to use my preferred string gauge on a 6 string, but tune it all the way down to drop A. Didn't even have to buy a new guitar. But what if I want to go even lower, into Meshuggah territory? Normally, you'd need an 8 string just to even touch those riffs. But all I've got here is a 7. Watch this. Boom! Tune this bad boy down to -6, and now we're in F. So instead of buying multiple extended range guitars just for 1 or 2 songs, I can hit those tunings instantly, one stomp, same guitar. So the reason these pedals work so well is they're literally built around the tuning problems all metal guitarists face. The XS1 handles this straight away. It can shift your tuning up or down 7 semitones or even 3 octaves instantly. And because it's polyphonic, chords track cleanly. If you want more control, you could even hook up an extra foot switch or expression pedal to sweep through tunings live. That's why going from drop D to drop C to drop B on one guitar felt so natural earlier. Normally, you'd be restringing with different gauges for each tuning, but with the XS1 or the XS100, you can keep the string gauge and the tension that you like. On the XS1, you've even got a balanced dial, so you can blend in your natural tone with the pedal itself. And then you've got detune mode if you want a looser chorus style feel without changing your setup. so your guitar always feels right no matter how low you go. And in that tricky Floyd Rose situation is where the XS100 truly shines. It doesn't just do big shifts, it's also got a fine-tune control, so you can nail those weird Pantera concert-style tunings, because those basically would just destroy your setup and you'd have to spend ages restringing guitars. And then, because it's got the expression pedal built in, you're not just limited to fixed shifts. You can sweep, bend, or even assign a toe switch for a second parameter mid-song. You can also choose how the pitch responds. It has like 5 different curves and adjustable rise and fall times. That way, it feels exactly how you want it under your feet. And then when it comes to extended ranges, instead of buying another guitar, the XS100 can take you from up to -4 octaves built into that pedal. It's got 30 user memory, so you can save your own presets for each different style and tuning. And it even has MIDI in and out, so you can have all of that controlled by a computer. So yeah, the XS1 is the compact, no-fuss solution for tunings in string gauges, and the XS100 is the full creative toolbox that solves the Floyd Rose issues, Pantera tunings, whammy tricks, and those extended range nightmares. Either way, they basically take away every headache that we've just been through. So if you're interested in learning more about these two pedals, check the link in the description below and let me know in the comments which one was your favorite.